thank you so much. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for... No, don't turn that around. Thank you for joining us for Drunk Doctor Who Apocrypha.
A brand new subsidiary podcast.
Right. We decided, if you've been watching us for a while now, sometime in the spring...
We're sorry if you have.
No, I'm not sorry. But all right, we decided to do... to take the Apocrypha stuff and the spin-off stuff and make separate lists for them with their own episodes. A, so that we don't have really, really long episodes when we watch, say, 6 episodes of one of the spin-offs. Mm-hmm. And B, so we can get the episode count for Doctor Who very specifically correct to the American release of the serials. Mm-hmm. Also, this way we can do proper justice to these items without tacking them on to something else. All right, today we rewatched the very first movie of Doctor Who and the Daleks. This came out in 1965, starring Peter Cushing. Now, we have talked about this before on one of the podcasts, and that only reinforces the need to separate these. So we're not going to go into too much detail about the plot at this point, partly because you may have already seen us talk about it in that podcast.
And seen us do the serial.
Yeah, and then the serial, right.
The movie, so
this is basically a colorized version, a remake for theatrical release of the Daleks, the second Doctor Who serial of all time.
The White Savages.
Right. Now, we have these two, Doctor and the Daleks, and Dalek Invasion of Earth 2150 AD, that we're doing this week and next week. And later on, we will have the K9 Company that we're starting the spin-offs list for.
Are we gonna rewatch Sarah Jane and?
Yeah, we can. K9 Company. Yeah. We'll get to Sarah Jane Adventures eventually, but K9 Company is the name of the one that we watched.
That's the one that's the one.
Which we did slightly out of order. Yeah.
We'll rewatch the pilot. Is that all that came out? Was the pilot?
That's it. There was one episode. Yeah. Just like the TV movie. It was the first revival of Doctor Who, but that was it. It was just the pilot basically that came out. It was called the TV movie.
How come they didn't pick it up? Do you know?
Yeah, we talked about this because it aired against the last episode of Roseanne, and so it did not get the ratings to justify Fox picking it up full time.
That sounds like a poor decision. It was Fox that was going to pick it up?
It was Fox that did the pilot.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe. And they were the ones...
So this was going to be an American show?
No, well, okay. The main actor, McGann, is British. And... the rest of the cast, except for McCoy, who comes back to reprise his role as the 7th Doctor, the rest of the cast are pretty much American, including the Master. First time the Master's ever played by an American actor. Pardon me. The only time the Master's ever played by an American actor. Huh?
We're still talking about K9 Company?
No, that's the TV movie.
Oh, the second? Wait, what? I'm so confused.
Are you eating those gummies again?
Nope.
Okay, K9 Company, British, done by the British.
Yes.
Doctor Who, the TV movie, was done by Fox.
This one that we just watched?
No, the TV movie down the line, 1996. This is a theatrical movie in 65.
Oh, so you're talking about a movie we haven't watched yet?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. The first revival of DoctorHo was Doctor Who, the TV movie.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about...
Yep.
He just got the one movie.
Right, yep.
Gotcha.
So anyway.
That was by Fox? McGann's movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
It aired on Fox. It was produced by Fox in conjunction with the BBC.
They're trying to revive it as an American TV show? I didn't. As
a joint venture. So it would air in Britain, where the TV movie did well, and it would air in America, where it did not do well because of putting it up against the last episode of Roseanne. So Fox, who was providing most of the funding, And the BBC was providing some funding, but mostly the IP. Were co-producing it. Well, like I said, didn't quite
pulled
work
out,
that
so
well.
BBC canceled it. Okay.
Yeah. And there's one
good.
other time that the BBC went with a foreign company in the past, which was
Australia.
No. K9 is simply Australian, but it's not produced by the BBC. I'm talking about the fourth series of Torchwood, which is a spin-off show, which is done by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.
Oh, the CBC.
Yeah. And currently, remember that Bad Wolf is making Doctor Who, and they are owned by Sony. So, Bad Wolf is a British company, but they're owned by a Japanese company, and that's kind of a collaboration there.
And their company name is named after a Doctor Who reference. Bad Wolf is a
big Doctor Who reference. Yeah. All right.
I only know that because I have a friend whose account is named Bad Wolf. As on, like for Xbox, his video games, and his profile picture is a TARDIS and has the white spray paint looking Bad Wolf on the TARDIS.
That happens a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know what that reference is referring to.
And we'll get there. Alright, just let you know.
Eventually.
Today is September 19th, 2022, and my 54th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yay!
Happy
You
birthday.
know, I want to do this. Even my birthday, I still want to do this. We went out to Texas Roadhouse, had some good food.
Yes, we
I
did.
have some leftovers for some good food for tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did you get? The steak?
I got the 22-ounce ribeye, bone-in ribeye, and a sidekick of ribs.
Ooh.
Love Texas Roadhouse, so good.
Boy, those ribs we had in Vegas changed my life. I don't think I can eat. I don't think I can eat any other ribs anymore.
Okay, these are the ones at
where they brought it out. It was in the hotel restaurant.
No. It was in a hotel restaurant, not our hotel restaurant.
Right.
That was in.
We also you also got the ribs on that one strip, not the strip, but the side strip with the Ferris wheel. But this is the one that they brought out. It's the Moodlight restaurant. They brought it out and had the little glass dome on it, and he picked it up.
It's called a bell jar.
A bell jar, and all the steam came off it like that, and whoosh, whoosh.
That was amazing.
And the sauce, and it's just fall off the bone, tender.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
And that is the chicken something.
Is it the name of the restaurant? Is Chicken something?
Hold on, I'm trying to remember the name. Listen, I love that restaurant.
But after I had those ribs,
good.
I don't think I can have ribs anymore.
Well, it looks like those ribs.
Unless they're those ribs.
Hold on, let me see if I can think of the name real quick. Hey, Sunshine, what was the name of that restaurant? Yardbirds. That's it, Yardbirds. Fantastic. The food is amazing. It's expensive, but it's so worth it. It's one of those special restaurants you go to for special occasions.
Yeah.
Or if you're just rich. Alright. Okay, anyway. Doctor and the Daleks. First of all, like I was saying, the Doctor shows up. He's actually not the Doctor. He's Doctor Who. A Doctor whose last name and surname is Who.
A human doctor named Who.
Yeah. Not a Time Lord, but he's invented a TARDIS, a time and space machine, which they don't call the TARDIS. It's just TARDIS.
Kind of like we have to go to hospital.
Yeah, like the way he's not the Doctor, he's just Doctor Who. Human, and this is one of the many changes. Anyway, they show up on a planet, they encounter Daleks, they're captured, they get radiation poisoning, they manage to escape, they help the Thals defeat the Daleks, and everybody lives happily ever after.
All right, synopsis.
Yeah.
I understand why they removed a lot of the world building lore with the Time Lords and stuff, because they were just, first of all, they didn't have a whole lot of time to set that up, like the characters, but also they're just making it more approachable to a wider audience. So, you know, oh, he's a human, he's a doctor, he invented the time machine. That's really entry-level introductory stuff.
True, but remember that the second serial, Daleks, didn't actually address most of that. Most of that was addressed in the previous serial, The Caveman.
Right, yeah, because so the series, they have more time to set up the lore and the character development.
Right,
like
although
he's an alien.
Time Lords are never mentioned until much, much later. Gallifrey is never mentioned until much
Well,
later.
there's a lot of mystery, but they kind of piecemeal it like, oh, they're not from Earth, and
Yeah.
yada yada yada.
Yeah. But anyway, so like I said, if you want to see the full description, we've already done it twice. Once for the original serial, once for when we cleaved it to one of the other episodes. But feel free to watch either of those. But it's basically
Those
the
are
Daleks.
Episode number
Well, 2 for the Daleks. Right. The differences, however, are what we should go over. The differences between this and the original The Daleks serial. First of all, it's in color.
It's in color.
It's gorgeous in color.
It's a you get to see all the vibrant Dalek colors as their different denominations.
First time ever, yeah.
Leadership. It's a theatrical run, so it has a much larger budget. So they made these really pretty sets and costume design.
Paintings.
The interior set of the TARDIS looks terrible. It looks worse than the TV show.
The only comparable
wires.
Oddly enough, the only comparable interior set for the TARDIS, not that disarrayed, but the big living room that you go into when you open the doors. The only reasonably comparable is, oddly enough, McGann's 8th Doctor's TARDIS.
Oh.
Because he basically, you go through the front doors and it's a big living room. With the nice chairs, very British, that kind of stuff.
I thought the exterior of the TARDIS was really nice. They got a brand new police box.
It looked much better than the original show stuff. Yeah.
And I wondered why they wouldn't just use that in the show since they already made it for the movie. Or
there are several things they didn't use they should have. Other differences are the TARDIS's sound is not the key on the piano.
Iconic. Yeah.
No, in this case, it's some weird whirring.
It's just
like Scooby-Doo, 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 Scooby-Doo. Other odd things is that Barbara is not a teacher. She is one of the Doctor Who's granddaughters, along with Susan. Right. And she's dating Ian, her new boyfriend.
He's a bit of a very slapstick, goofy, clumsy kind of character.
Coward klutz, cowardly klutz. He's the
very much the opposite of the Ian on the TV show.
Exactly. He's not competent so much as he is comic relief.
They rewrote his character.
Which is sad that he's also not a teacher. This was slightly corrected in next week's Dalek Invasion of Earth 2050 AD when they get Bernard Cribbins to play the character that's not Ian.
He plays the
Ian-esque character. Yeah, he plays the
a cop or something.
Bobby. Anyway, so other differences. Obviously, they're not Time Lords, but still, the little girl Susan is ultra smart. She literally helped Doctor Who build the TARDIS.
So says the Doctor Who, but I mean, he could be like, she came in with the drawing and a fridge magnet and pat her on the head. Good job, you helped. Like that. That's kind of the.
Did you see the book she was reading at the beginning of the movie?
Pretending to read it.
Yeah, Physics for Physics. Yeah.
You don't know. I like how she's reading the science of physics, and Barbara's reading the science of science, and the Doctor Who's reading a graphic comic book. Fascinating.
Okay, that was a Boy Scout publication back in the day.
What was it?
Yeah, it was. Anyway, let's see. I'm trying to think of any other major differences between this and the original.
Just really subtle things, dialogue differences. Not a whole lot of really big differences.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a romantic interest between the Thal and Susie because she was a much younger child.
Yeah, much younger child. Susan in the original is played by an adult who looks young, like maybe 14. The girl in here is about 6, 7. Yeah. Much younger child. That's another difference. Also, the original is 7 episodes. So 25 minutes an episode. say 22 after you take the intro and the outro, you're looking at 154 minutes. That's closing in on, no, that is 2.5 hours. Whereas this was only like 80 minutes.
90,
80. And they cut a lot of the fat from the original show to speed it up and slim it down for theatrical release because they only have so much of a budget, you know?
Yeah, not so much world building like in the TV show. They have a lot of science jargon and dialogue. They get out of the TARDIS and they start discussing the petrified
forest. Jungle.
What was that creature called? Magmite?
What creature?
Cybermat looking.
Oh, that's
a petrified creature thing.
It was more like one of those lizards that puts the deal out. Yeah.
So they just cut out some dialogue. It's kind of like you read the book of something and then they transform it into a movie and then they go, oh, the book was better because it goes into more detail.
Usually. Now this pretty much used the exact same script as the original with some changes, which apparently in the 60s was very common, especially in British shows. I did not realize that, found it on the Doctor Who forums. Anyway, because, I was barely alive in the 60s, like born in 68. As you can tell, because we've already mentioned today's date, my birthday, if you want to backtrack it. This movie was good enough
Let me get my calculator.
This movie was good enough that it spawned a second film. And the second one was Doctor Who Invasion of Earth 2050 AD, the Daleks Invasion of Earth 2050 AD, which unfortunately did not do well enough to do the third one, which would have been the Daleks Master Plan.
That would have been great.
Right. But, especially since so much of the Daleks Master Plan is missing. These two serials we have all of. The Daleks Master Plan is missing. Having a theatrical copy
that'd be cool.
Would be amazing. But the second movie had a much larger budget, double this one, and it didn't do quite as well as the box office, so the third one was never made.
Do you think the new series or season of the new Doctor,
Shutai Gatwa, 14.
You think Bad Wolf, if that show gets successful enough, they'll do another movie theatrical release? Kind of like they did with 24. You had 8 seasons of 24, and they had about 3 movies because the show got so popular. They came out with actual theatrical movies.
It's possible.
That'd be cool.
There have been technically 3 movies for Doctor Who. These two theatricals, which are both Apocrypha, and a TV movie, which was not theatrical, but it was on TV, but it's called the TV movie, which is canon.
Was that during the revival stuff?
That was the first revival. These two were both during the original run in the 60s.
But imagine a modern day Doctor Who movie. Wouldn't that be cool? Like a big budget sci-fi.
Now, I mentioned while we were watching that the 50th anniversary special was released in theaters, and I saw it in the theater with some of the extra bits, like Night of the Doctor, which I'll show you later. Cool. And then the first episode of Capaldi, because the 50th anniversary special did so well, and that was only 2 episodes later, was also shown in theaters. Didn't do quite as well, so it's the last time they've done it. Capaldi.
But that was like a 1 or 2 day release.
Well, yeah, it was basically you saw it in the theater when it was simulcast on TV. So it's like, here you go. But technically, it was theatrically released, but it's not a movie; it's just an episode.
But imagine like a theatrical movie with the budget of like one of those Star Trek movies that they've been releasing. That'd be really cool.
It would, and it's possible. Especially now that Bad Wolf's doing it, and now that we have a new king in England.
Are you good at crossing your fingers? Oh, there you go,
Yeah.
I got it.
So you have to be living under a rock if you don't know this, but we haven't done this podcast for a couple weeks.
We haven't?
Wait.
I've been under a rock.
Wait, did we do it last week?
No, I'm joking.
Okay.
We missed last week? But I think we were here the week before.
Yeah, but the Queen died like 10 days ago.
Oh yeah, so we haven't talked about that.
The Queen of England passed away, Queen Elizabeth II, and they have a new king now, King Charles III.
God rest the Queen, God save the King.
Well, the Queen is dead, long live the King, you know?
Is that the phrase?
Yeah, they say the King is dead, long live the king, referring to the new king. And so in this case, the queen is dead. Long live the king.
I thought it was God rest the king or God rest the queen.
It's the king is dead. That's the old expression. Now there may be a different prayer with the king, God rest the king. Anyway,
but also, did we ever talk about Cushing, Peter Cushing?
Briefly, Peter Cushing plays the title character, Doctor Who. And he is a famous actor, most notably Grand Moff Tarkin from the Star Wars trilogy, the original trilogy.
And he passed away last year? Or this year?
No. It was quite some time ago.
Oh, I thought it was recent.
No. Bernard Cribbins.
That's the one.
From the second movie, the one we're going to watch next week.
Yeah.
He recently passed away.
Okay,
Very recently passed away. And we'll talk about that next week. But
I'm all mixed up.
Peter Cushing, who played Doctor Who in the movies, it sounds like we're calling him Doctor Who and not the Doctor. Famous actor, don't know hardly anything else he's been in except these two movies and the Star Wars movies. But apparently he's really good, and he is really good in here. He basically plays Hartnell, but he's taller, so he kind of affects a bent. Yeah, to seem a little shorter. Because Hartnell was short, and Cushing's, I don't know, maybe it was 5'10", 5'11".
Never noticed that. I just thought he was acting old and feeble.
He was, but part of that is to hide his height, because he's kind of playing Hartnell.
He's a tall guy. I heard that scene where he's talking to Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. She had to be on a soapbox or something.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Oh, here's the thing. Grand Moff Tarkin, Peter Cushing, he wouldn't wear his boots because they were so painful. So, every time his feet weren't shown in the shot, he would take his boots off and he'd be walking around in his socks because they hurt his feet.
That's
military boots.
Anyway, he's a really great actor. And
that way, when he's talking to the Princess Leia, instead of like this, they're kind of...
Okay. Anyway, so he's a good actor. He's great in this. I'm glad he did these movies. And one other point, the color of the Daleks. They've got a kind of a blue Dalek, seen like here. Except these don't have some of the lap bands,
Yeah, they look more navy. They're black.
Yeah, so the blue Daleks are more the drone Daleks, the workers. Then you have a red Dalek that seems to be the general. And then you have the black Dalek, which seems to be the Dalek Supreme, which we can count later. Or the Emperor Dalek. Remember that from, was it Eagle of the Daleks?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions or other comments? Yeah, this is going to be a short episode because we've already talked about this serial twice now before. We're just doing this to start our Apocrypha line, and after the next one, when we start hitting other Apocrypha, it'll be the full everything.
Over the plot.
Yeah, the plot and everything else. One which will hit other Apocrypha once we finish off the Sixth Doctor. That's where we start getting the stuff that comes in big time by third parties during. Not loose cannon. The
oh, they do the reconstruction. Okay.
But third party stuff during the wandering years, Yeah.
Years of silence. Yep. So we're gonna be taking a break from the main series
show
for quite a while we do all the Apocrypha that was in between the
main show and the revivals.
Seasons,
and there's some of it that's done during the main show, which we'll get to after the Sixth Doctor before the Seventh. Also, when we get to Canine Company, after we finish off Tom Baker, we'll do that in its appropriate place. That'll begin the spin-off line.
Don't they have several seasons of that?
Canine Company?
Yes.
No, we talked about that earlier. It's just the one pilot episode.
Sarah Jane and
you think Sarah Jane?
That has several seasons.
5.
Well, 5 seasons.
4 and a third.
So we're going to be taking quite a break from...
Well, everything's going to be in its place chronologically. So we're not going to do all 5 Sarah Jane seasons in a row because they weren't in a row with no Doctor Who. We'll do the Doctor Who that's appropriate, Sarah Jane and that's appropriate, Torchwood that's appropriate, main show, yada yada yada.
So we're going to be falling behind the main watch group again?
No. The main watch group is going through all this stuff as well.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
Well, yes, we have, and yes, we will.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully, we're going to catch up to them. Every time the main watch group hits a snag or a series of snags, I'm like, great, we're catching up.
And
then we hit different snags. All right, it's your move.
Oh, I thought this was main podcast stuff. We do this during Apocrypha.
Well,
I'll make a move.
Like, we've been playing this game for, what, 5-6 months?
I'm black, right?
No. You are the I'm in trouble white pieces.
This is my move.
So, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us for this new sideline. And like I said, we'll do the one more of these next week. That will also be a bit abbreviated, just because we've already covered it. And the Canine and Company, we might do the entire thing properly, and then everything after that for both lines will be done properly, simply because we will not have hit them as of yet. All right, we will see you next week. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye. Thank you.
Here's how badly I'm losing.
Check. All right, cool. All right, bye bye.